works. Let's see. Is it going to work? It works. All right, copy, Telegram, and paste. Okay. Let's see. Damn, Ethereum. See ya. Okay, so if I'm seeing this right, you should be seeing my second monitor. If you guys are joining the chat, first things first. Okay, Adele, you're here. Okay. Do you hear me right, Adele? Can you hear me clear? And then secondly, can you see my screen, my second monitor? Is it better than what it was before? It's not stretched anymore, right? So it should be okay. Okay, so everyone can see it now, right? You can see it on mobile, you can see it on... Okay, cool, awesome. Yes, cool, okay, sweet. Okay, yeah, we'll start, okay. Sorry. I'm going to keep this a hard stop at 30 minutes. I'm going to pretty much go through the charts. I'm going to go through the education side of things. It's going to be super quick. I have your questions on another monitor, which is kind of nice. So I'm going to be monitoring the chat as I go. But okay, so first things first on Ethereum. I mentioned to you guys that Ethereum is looking extremely weak here. The reason for that is you can see that we've already seen a one test, a second test, and now this would become the third test opportunity. That's why I mentioned to you guys we're pretty much in a bearish case scenario. I mentioned to be looking for scalp shorting opportunities on Ethereum. Around the 2610 is when I sent the message. And the reason for that was we already rejected off the exponential moving averages. It was a very simple trade. You can see that although bulls did come on this wick scenario right here, there was buying pressure, right? So same thing. So look here real quick. I'll draw it out for you. So same thing. We had some midterm support, right? How do we know? Well, this area was resistance, then it flipped to support, then it flipped to support, then it flipped to support. But although we had some bullish pressure, we rejected off the exponential moving averages. So that was giving us our scenario to obviously be looking for short positions. We entered the shorts into the scalp range down all the way back to around support again at 25.92. Very clean. I tell you guys all the time, make sure you guys are scalping in those gains. You don't necessarily want to be holding the trade because guess what? We don't know if the market structure is going to break, right? We're not sure if it's going to break, but what we do know is it is going to head into support. Remember what I taught you guys last stream? We trade into the support level. Now look at this volatility that's happening on Ethereum right now. Personally speaking, I wouldn't necessarily want to be holding something like this because what can happen? We can end up seeing a squeeze back up. So this is a consolidation range on Ethereum. Our second trade opportunity now would be somewhere down here at 25.36. I've talked about this level a lot. If you look at Ethereum currently on 25.36, any break structure of this zone, and we can start focusing on 24.29, because just like we saw this breakout trade here, so the same way we saw this massive squeeze, there wasn't any sort of resistance in between that zone. And just like from a short perspective, when we come towards the downside, when we start pushing towards the downside, there is nothing holding Ethereum from dropping at this zone once again. So that's pretty much how we trade, right? We pretty much look for those gap opportunities, and that's where Ethereum right now, of course, right now, is holding on support. So what you want to do in this sort of situation is lock in the gains from the scalp position. Ideally, you wanted to lock in those gains right here on midterm support. If the structure breaks, do we enter a short again? No. We do not enter a short again, right? The reason why we don't enter the short again is because now we've already missed the opportunity here. We've already taken our profit here. And now a third short wouldn't make sense because, of course, that would put us in extreme oversold conditions. The idea is if we enter a reshort down here, the chances of the market seeing a pullback are a lot higher. Look what happened here, right? So you can see market came down, same exact trade setup, market came down, trapped those late shorts, and then we saw the pullback towards the upside. When would you short? It would make sense to short on the break of the wick lows, which are right here at 25.36. Then we enter the short. Well, the question, of course, becomes, okay, well, if Ethereum's looking for that short, what about the longs? And when can we look for the longs? Is Ethereum in the downside? And of course, I know I haven't made an Ethereum video in a very long time. And the reason for that is there's really not much for me to update on Ethereum. We're pretty much in a consolidation zone. But looking at Ethereum on the 4-hour time frame, any break of 27.11, that's your confirmation to long. Otherwise, what's most likely going to happen is we're probably going to end up trading like this. I've talked about this range before, and you can see from previous price analysis, look what happened. We have done this range before. These old wicks tell a story, and right now in Ethereum, we are in that same exact situation. We are just consolidating sideways before the break formation. You don't necessarily want to enter a swing position and get caught, and I tell you guys this all the time, and I really need you guys to understand this, is when you are trading, at least in my channel, when we trade, we are scalping these positions. A scalp position is just supposed to be in and out of the market. On the 4-hour intraday level, you can get insane amount of gains. I'm not talking about a quick 5-minute or 15-minute trade setup. No, we're talking on the 4-hour setup, a very strong bearish engulfing or a bullish engulfing trade, and we end up seeing quite a large amount or significant amount of gains. But the reason why we trade like this is because mostly when it comes down to a chop situation, which Ethereum is in right now, we don't know if support's going to break. Nobody does, right? It's not a crystal ball situation. There are things that you can understand prior, like, okay, look, yes, this is now this third test opportunity. Obviously, we rejected the EMAs. Those things are obviously just going to help you from the long-term perspective, but you are not guaranteed a break of support, right? It's just how trading works. That's why I always tell you guys, we trade what we know, and what we knew was the fact that we were going to be trading into support. We were going to be pushing into support. That's why we short scalped on Ethereum. Now for Bitcoin, an insane setup here, right? Look on Bitcoin. So yesterday, I made a video in Telegram, and I told you guys, look, realistically, I would not be looking for long positions here. And the question, of course, would have been, well, Pingu, we were using the EMAs as resistance. We were retesting over and over. Isn't that a long position? No. And the reason for that is you have to be very careful with these sort of trades because look how many times the exponential moving averages were tested. The more times these EMAs are tested, the higher chances of it breaking. And remember what I taught you guys last stream is the worst case scenario. We did not test the 20 exponential moving average when I made that video. And I told you guys the worst case scenario for you is a 20 exponential moving average retest. So why would you enter a long position here when you can enter a long position down here after the EMA retest? But look what happened after we tested the EMA. Bitcoin broke structure. And I warned you guys that if we end up breaking the 20 EMA, we will trap all of these longs. All of these longs will end up getting trapped, and we'll see a breakdown formation on Bitcoin. And that's exactly what happened. Now, surprise, surprise, look what happened after that. We ended up breaking structure of 64.6, which of course was a midterm resistance level. We ended up breaking support at 63.9, which was a major support level. So that will give you a better idea of how to set up your trades for this week. Does that mean we're all of a sudden going to start looking for shorts across the board? Oh my God, Bitcoin short, Ethereum short, Dogecoin short. No, because remember what I taught you guys. Over trading is a big thing. And I'll tell you guys a lesson later about over trading. But right now, what we're simply going to be paying attention on Bitcoin is a break of this area right here. Wick low break. You can enter a short from 62.6 down to 61.6 because why? There's nothing stopping Bitcoin from that range. There's absolutely nothing. Would we trade in this chop situation here? No, we do not trade in this chop situation here. There's no reason to trade the chop here, right? We want to trade what we know, and what we know right now is support is lost. But hey, guess what? Look at your exponential moving averages. They haven't been tested yet. So what's the worst case scenario now, guys? If you're paying attention, what's the worst case scenario that can happen now? The worst case scenario now would be a squeeze into the exponential moving average. So would you rather wait until the EMAs are hit, then enter a short? Or would you rather enter a short here and then the EMAs hit and now you're drawdown, right? So that's why I tell you guys, you got to understand this from a 4-hour perspective. You really need to learn this. Like, it takes time to understand, but once you get it, you'll start noticing it much better. So for example, this trade setup right here, right, into the support, you are trading into that zone. Once that zone hits, you take your profits. It doesn't matter, oh, it's going to break. Oh, it did break. It doesn't matter. Take your profits. Next trade setup, it rejects off the EMAs. Candle close below support. Next trade setup, enter short. Re-enter, obviously, right? So re-entry on the break structure. Boom, boom, boom. The third trade setup. Do we enter on the third trade setup? No, because why? Usually on the third, it ends up squeezing back, or of course a reversal. You can see it happen here. It happened many times. The third trade setup would be here, a break of wick low. All these wicks A break of that would be a third trade setup. So that's how you pretty much trade on the 4-hour time frame when it comes down to those areas of support and resistance. And now you can see when I told you guys, look, you ideally want to be taking your profit. This is a live lesson, right? So look, on Ethereum now, right, we entered a short at 26.10 all the way down into 25.92. But look at where Ethereum is now. We've bounced on 25.92, right? So I told you guys, it's not guaranteed we're going to break support. We trade into that support level, right? And now you can see that play out perfectly on Ethereum. So that's why I tell you guys, look, be cautious when you guys are trading on the 4-hour time frame. What you want to do is you want to be scalping these trade setups. And when you're scalping these trade setups, that means you are taking your profits aggressively. I tell you guys this all the damn time. The reason why we are on Jumpex is because our fees as a partnership are extremely low. You really need to understand that when you are trading 2-3 times a day over a week period of time, look at your fees on your other platforms. They add up. And that's why I tell you guys, my trading style in the 4-hour time frame, what I teach you guys, it's not just scalping, right? We don't only scalp. We have traded swings before. But the reason why I am not swinging Bitcoin, the reason why I'm not swinging Ethereum is because, simply put, the structure isn't there. I would much rather enter long positions on the EMAs towards the upside, long, all the way long. Continue longing those trades until structure breaks. But if you look at Bitcoin on the overall time frame, we are just simply in a large consolidation zone, right? We have no clue whether Bitcoin is going to break all-time high and within the next few days or next few weeks. We don't know. What we do know, though, is when Bitcoin does end up breaking into the exponential moving averages and using them as support, it's usually a bullish confirmation, right? And that you can see that on Bitcoin from around the 59K zone. When we originally broke structure right here, we pretty much entered the long, sideways action, long. The time we switch, obviously you get more cautious, is a break of exponential moving averages. Now, let me explain something to you guys, and I want you guys to pay attention here, okay? Now, I always talk about support and resistance, right? I always say, okay, guys, support, resistance, that's pretty much how we trade, yada. Look, there are other things that you notice as you trade, and I'll explain to you guys what. Now, looking at the 4-hour time frame, if I'm simply just looking at support and resistance, I am pretty much in tunnel vision, right? Tunnel vision is basically I'm only looking at the smaller picture. I'm not looking at the larger picture. Now, if I'm looking at the larger picture here, I would have noticed that, hey, there's a BART formation on Bitcoin. There's a BART formation on Bitcoin. For those of you that are new to the stream and don't know what a BART formation is, think of that character in Simpson, the BART, his head. BART formations are extremely easy to spot in Bitcoin, and they work extremely well. You're probably thinking, well, this is stupid. I don't want this lesson. No, you need to understand this BART formation always ends up playing out. Every single time we see Bitcoin in a massive BART formation, it has ended up playing out. And I know that for a fact because a lot of you guys have traded BART formations. Hey, you guys remember my favorite BART? Look at this. I haven't changed it, guys. This is a lesson to you to learn. I drew this BART formation on Bitcoin back in November of 2023. We were in a live session and I drew this for you guys and I said I will never remove him because he is a reminder of how this works. Look at the BART formation that happened, okay? So you can see on Bitcoin, look at this. So we had the same exact trade setup, right? Same exact trade setup. EMA is bouncing, beautiful. Everyone's long, everyone's happy, retesting resistance. But look what happened. One structure broke, the BART formation completed. And you can see from the wick low, right? That was a disgusting trade. And that's why I tell you guys with BART formations, they happen quite a lot. Here's another one, right? So same thing, 4-hour manipulation candles, right? So for manipulation candles, of course, are candlesticks without any wicks. So right there. And look what happened. BART formation. Now, the beauty of BART formations, it gives you a better understanding of a worst case scenario. Here's another one. I'm just giving you guys straight up examples of BART formations. Here's another one. BART formation. Same thing. Beautiful trade. Obviously, support and resistance aren't drawn here, so it might look a little different, but same thing. Now, the beauty of a BART formation is the fact that when you see the manipulation candlesticks, right, you have to be very, very cautious. But when you see a manipulation candlestick, all of these BART formations, they end up playing to where the initial move started. So, and this is a very important lesson. If you pay attention to this BART formation that happened today, right, or last night, whatever you want to call it, the manipulation candlestick started here, right? So we saw the breakout or even squeeze. Let's just say a squeeze basically is obviously just volume candles where shorts got trapped and then you see volume come in and it basically squeezes them out. What you need to pay attention though is you can see that this is pretty much where the move set started. Now with BART formations, they always end up hitting where the move set started. It's not rocket science, guys. This is very important and I'll show you a perfect example of this live. Look at this BART formation, right? So we had the move set up towards the upside. We hit resistance and we started to chop, started to chop. What happened then? This is important. How can you know if a BART formation is going to play out? The most important part of it is the midterm support. So if you're looking at it from this perspective, let me zoom out so you guys can see. Okay, so this is where we're at. Everyone paying attention? Hold on. Everyone say yes. If you're paying attention, just type in one or yes or no. Everyone paying attention? Because I want everyone to follow this along because this is a live example. And this is something you're going to use for the rest of your life for trading. So in the chat, just put yes or no if you're following so far. Okay, one. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So looking at the BART formation as of right now, okay? Look at this. So how do you know when a BART formation is going to play? Well, right now, I just moved the chart. We're just assuming we don't know what happened in Bitcoin, right? We're just assuming that this is the current price range. So we had our beautiful upbeat 80. Everyone's happy. We're consolidating at this zone. Now, consolidations near resistance is a first sign of a BART. So the first sign of a BART is consolidation at resistance, okay? The second sign of a BART is the EMAs start going sideways, right? So look, EMAs went sideways. The third sign of a BART, and this is your confirmation of your BART, is a break of midterm support. And look at that, right? So look at this. Look at this very simple trade. 65.4, we kept retesting it. What happened next? We ended up breaking 65.4. Boom. 4-hour candlestick on the way towards the downside. Guess what happened? People were probably thinking, oh, you know what? I'm going to enter along here. Wrecked. Oh, I'm going to enter along here. Wrecked. I'm going to enter along here. Wrecked. And the reason why is because when BART formations play, they will play to the bottom. They will play of where it started. And you can see just how clean it was. Look how clean this was. To the exact wick. Ladies and gentlemen, to the exact level. Where the initial break started, it ended at that exact level. People always say, oh, whoa. Why is it bouncing here? What's so special? Why is it? That's why. It's because buyers were eagerly waiting at that level. Now, do you see the power of how you can use the BART formation? And that's just one example I've taught you. Guys, there is so many trade setups that are in my head that I can teach you guys, but of course it's going to take time. But I just want to do a lesson per day to explain how these things work. But now imagine you're a trader and you're pretty much on that support resistance, right? Your EMAs, you're bouncing, you're entering your longs, you hit major resistance. And then you're like, okay, I'm taking my profits here. But then you notice that, hey, wait, whoa, there's a BART. I got to be careful. Now, what's the worst case scenario that can happen for those BART traders? And I'll explain to you why we use the 3-rule setup. The 3-rule setup is because it's the most confirmation you get that the BART is going to play out. So once again, you're trading into resistance, consolidations, rule number 1. Rule number 2, EMAs go sideways. Rule number 3, you break midterm support. Now, the reason why you don't want to just guess that there's a BART, and I'll explain to you why, is Doge, right? Do you remember Doge? I'll show you quickly on Doge's breakout, and you're going to see something that's pretty cool. And this is something that you have to understand takes years of practice to play BARTs properly. But look at Doge on 0.11, okay? Look at Doge on 0.11. This is a pretty sideways BART, but you can see that there was a BART formation in the EMAs right here, okay? So look, so right there. Okay. So initial break, right? And then we had the chop. So again, BARTs don't have to be perfect, right? A lot of people are like, oh, I don't see it. It can be something like this. There are times where a BART will still play, but you have to be very cautious. Now look what happened to Doge. And this is why it's extremely dangerous to be trading BARTs if you don't know what you're doing. Look on Doge on the 4-hour time frame. There was a BART formation on Doge. There was sideways action into the exponential moving averages. The EMAs also went sideways. We were testing resistance. And then what happened? Right? What happened? Everyone thought this was the BART right here, right? Candlestick came down. Everyone's like, oh my God, this is going to play out. What happened instead? Breakout trade. And how can you know that it's going to break out? Well, simply put, BART formations don't happen necessarily on the third test of a breakout. So you can see right here, right? We had a mini BART, whatever. We had the same breakout trade. We had the same breakout trade. You guys need to, and this is why I'm teaching you guys this, is because zoom out of your chart. Stop having tunnel vision. A lot of you guys have tunnel vision in your trading. This is me showing you, look at the overall picture. And now you can see why it's interesting, right? Now, you can see how trading works. One person might see a BART. The other person might see a breakout. The third person might just see a consolidation zone. And then everyone goes on Twitter and everyone goes on TradingView and they put their little comments of, oh, you know what? This is why I think Bitcoin's going down. No, this is why I think Bitcoin's going sideways. And everyone has an opinion. But how do you know you're right? You don't until you are. And that's where you learn and the knowledge comes from. That is where you realize, you guys need to understand, the amount of times I have been posting about a chart and then people will message me and say, yo, are you an idiot? Like everyone is long. The best traders, all the hedge fund traders are long. Why are you short? And that's where you need to understand is if you are following with the trend, if everyone's long and you're like, all right, you know what? I think I'm gonna long too. It's a very dangerous game. But if you're the only one out of a select few that are opposite of everyone else, you need to really pay attention to those trades, because if those trades hit, then you need to understand the reason why they hit was because you were confident in your own trading. I can sit here, guys, and tell you exactly like, okay, this is what's going to happen. This is how it's going to happen, yada, yada, yada. But I've been doing this for a very long time, right? Realistically, if Pingu wasn't here at that point, what would you guys do? And that's why I tell you guys, look, I will start teaching you as much as I can, but I expect you guys to practice this in your own trading setups as well. Because once you practice and you learn, that is where you will succeed the most, right? Me doing it for you guys, it's not going to be the same. That's why everyone's like, oh, Pingu, do copy trading. Oh, Pingu, why don't you open a signal channel? I don't want to do that because you're not going to learn. You're just going to expect me to do it for you. But these BART formations are one example of 5 other things that I can think about that I've just noticed over the years. And the reason why I teach you the BART formation is because a lot of traders need to understand this was a very simple trade. A very, very simple trade. The initial break right here structure, this was at 5 a.m. I was asleep, to be fair. But some of you guys do mention me and say, hey, Pingu, I caught the BART. These BART formations on the 4-hour time frames are disgusting. They're disgusting when they play out. And now if you look, hey guys, look, I'm zooming out. What do you see now, right? What do you see? Look, there's another initial break on Bitcoin at 59. And I'm not saying it's going to hit 59, but this is where things get important. This is where you pay attention. Okay, if we lose 62.6, how disgusting of a candle is this going to be? Do you see that? Do you see what I'm saying? These are very, very simple things. And once you start analyzing charts for a very long time, you start really noticing these things very fast. And you're like, oh shit, there's a BART formation that's disgusting. I will be more cautious with my trades. I will be more aggressive with my take profits, because if this BART plays, it's going to liquidate across the board. And that's where you see all those people post 1 billion, 2 trillion, all those things that happen in terms of liquidations. It's because people don't pay attention to the overall picture. The overall picture does play. People ask me, Pingu, what about dailies? Are there BART formations? No. But daily BART formations, if there is a daily BART formation, just start praying. But looking at the daily time frame, guys, pay attention. Important. If the 4-hour BART formation has played, but the daily 20 exponential moving average has not hit, where do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? Where would you long? Are you more comfortable entering a long position at the end of a BART, or are you more comfortable entering a long position on the 20 exponential moving average on the daily time frame? This is why I tell you guys to zoom out. Because a lot of you guys, and I know this, trade on lower time frames, 5 minutes, 15, 30, 1 hour. It doesn't make sense. You can, if it works for you, great. But to me, it does not make sense, because on the 1 hour time frame, you might have a bullish candlestick and a bullish formation. You're like, oh, this is a long. But on the daily, everything's screaming that Bitcoin's going to doom, and you're entering your long positions, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna long here, 1 hour time. No, it doesn't make sense. If you have to use your daily time frame. Now look at the daily, right? We haven't tested our 20 exponential moving average in how long? In literally like 2 weeks straight, we haven't entered our 20 exponential moving average. And guess what's going to happen, guys? We're going to hit the 20 EMA, and then all of a sudden, everyone's going to start saying, short, whoa, Bitcoin's good, oh, 0. And that's where you long. And that's what I'm saying. It's super simple trading. And if you start understanding of what I'm trying to explain to you, is like, these things are very easy to spot. You can enter a trade on the 4 hour time frame, structure breaks, immediately go to the daily time frame, and notice, oh shit, the 20 EMA hasn't been tested. My bias now is trading shorts. My bias now is trading shorts. Why? Because we're below the exponential moving averages on the 4 hour time frame. We have already retested 62.6 multiple times. And now, looking at the daily time frame, we haven't tested our daily exponential moving average. That is 3 reasons why we are still looking for short setups. We are still scalping on shorts. Once the structure breaks at 62.5, guess what? We squeeze, or we push back towards the downside 61.5. Do we know that the structure is going to break on support? No, we do not. But what do we know? We know the fact that the daily exponential moving averages have not been tested yet. These things are tested all the time. If you know that on the daily, you know the 4 hour just broke structure on the bar formation as well as support. The secondary support is 62.6. What are you doing, guys? What are we doing? What are we setting up our charts for? We are now setting up our charts for the third trade. Guess what? If the market recovers from here, does it affect us? No, we don't give a shit. Why? Because we're not even in a trade. If the market ends up breaking above 66, what do? We simply long. Let the market come to you. A lot of times, you guys always pay attention. Okay, I think this is going to happen, or I do this, or I think this. No, let the market come to you. Once it comes to you, enter your levels, simply enter the trade, and exit the trade. It's super simple. Super simple, guys. My charts are very, very clean, and the reason why is because you start noticing these patterns a lot easier. One more quick one is a V-shaped formation. This is very simple. A V-shaped formation is simply the letter V. So here's our little bar. A V-shaped formation is simply a letter V, a V-shaped recovery. Now, a V-shaped recovery, all you're doing is you're paying attention to, of course, the 4 hour time frame and where the initial move happened. So look, this is where the breakdown structure happened. All we do, so I don't know if you guys are making notes, but what you're going to pay attention to is a V shape, so basically an area of support. So area of support would mean something like this, a midterm support level where the market starts to consolidate. And again, you have to be careful about this because this is not an entry. This is not an entry. This is simply a one of 3 steps. So, and the reason why it's not an entry is because the same V-shaped recovery could have been seen here. Oh, maybe this is the start to the V-shape, right? No. Why? Because you can see we had the consolidation, yes, but where were we on the exponential moving averages? Trading below them. So, first step, consolidation, right? Consolidation. Second step, a break of the exponential moving averages. Third step, a retest on support on the exponential moving averages. That is a recipe of a V-shaped formation. Now, this is where it gets super fun. Pay attention. Look on the 4 hour time frame, right? Oh, whoa, right? V-shape. Where did it play to? This is where it's fun. The V-shape played to the exact level of where the moveset started. Cool. Take profits happen. Secondary, what happened? Look, this is where it gets really interesting. Where did the V-shape play? There's another V-shape, right? Where did this one play? To the exact level of where the moveset started. Zoom out. Where did the next V-shape play? Same thing, V-shape. Where the exact level played out. Now, where did the mega V-shape play? Do you see how I'm trading? Do you see why I'm trading like this? Every single time Bitcoin broke above the previous lines, there was a V-shaped formation across the board. This is very rare, but it does happen. You guys asked me, Pingu, how did you know that we were going to squeeze? All I did was just zoom out of the chart. I noticed, yo, this area right here was where the moveset started. And this is the start of a massive V-shaped formation. I made videos literally saying V-shaped formation. That is why I knew. How did I know the levels were going to play? Simple. That's where the moveset started. That's where the moveset ended. V-shaped formation is complete. Do you guys see why I teach you guys this stuff? Because this is not something that you would just spot earlier on. You would have to understand that V-shaped formations, mostly on a 4-hour time frame, if there's a large V-shaped formation, that's where your entry is. Okay, if you're paying attention, last thing before we end the stream because it's been 30 minutes, last thing. W formations. Now, this is where it gets very interesting, right? So now you have your EMAs are being used as support. You were extremely oversold. Your V-shaped formation is playing out. But now you have a fourth confluence of why we enter long positions. Your W formation. Do you see it? W formation. W formations are extremely bullish patterns. They don't always play out, but when you have something this large and you already have your V-shaped structure breaking, how did we know we were going to enter a long, or how did we know the market was going to squeeze a 64.6? How did I know? Well, simply put, 64.6 was a major resistance level, right? You can see major resistance level. But if you zoom out on the chart, if you notice, the top of the W was at 66.8, around there. That was where the moveset started on the W formation, right? So we played the V-shaped formation, but then our overall W formation was still playing out. Where was the W formation squeeze? Trick question. I want you guys to actually answer so I know you're paying attention. Where did the W formation, where was our confirmation to long? Tell me, what number where exactly was the confirmation to long on Bitcoin? Which number? Out of all the resistance lines you see I have drawn, where would you have longed on Bitcoin for the W formation to play out? I'm going to zoom out so you can see the W formation. Where would I have longed? Tell me. If I'm entering a long position, which resistance level on the breakout would I have expected the W formation to play out? 66,000? Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? 64,126. That's a random number. Oh wait, no, you're right. You're right. Okay. 64,126. Okay, so yes. Okay, so 64,126 is a correct answer. Why? Because that is the middle of the W. Any squeeze above that zone is going to cause the W formation to complete. Now bipolar isn't wrong. Bipolar is not wrong either. 66K would have been, what is it? Right? What would have been where the moveset started. That is our next target, assuming 66K plays. This is why I tell you guys, oh, Pingo, how do you know where the resistance is gonna? That is how I know. Look at it, very clean chart setup, very clean. Moveset started, moveset ended. How do we know? We wait for the break of 66. That is it. That is super simple. You do not enter a single long position until 66K breaks. When that level structure breaks, enter the long position. There is nothing stopping Bitcoin in between this zone. Nothing. There is nothing stopping Bitcoin from hitting that zone. Okay, everyone understand today's lesson. This is recorded. I will post it in Telegram as well. Highly suggest you guys to join the Telegram channel if you have not joined yet. Let me show you real quick. Let me just copy paste it just because I'm sure we have new people joining. Give me 1 second here. Okay, there you go. So it's free. It's a free channel. I'm not charging anything. I never charge. Anyways, everyone explain, yes or no, did they understand today's lesson? It's super simple trading setups. And that's why I tell you guys, like, look, make your trades easier. You will be thankful in the long term. There's no reason to be complicating your trades. There's no reason. Okay, cool. Everyone understood? All right. Thank you guys so much for coming. I will make an Ethereum video later. I will make a Doge video because I know everyone's dying for a Doge. Because why? 0.124 broke and we had structure break. And I told you guys, if that level breaks, bad news for Doge. But I will make that video later. Are you buying spot? XC, shout out to XC. He's literally one of the first 5 people in this channel. XC, I did make a spot update in Telegram. Just scroll up a little bit. I have started to enter spot positions, yes. And Devin, still holding Devin. Haven't sold Devin, will not sell Devin long term. Okay, anyways, just because it's recording, Have a good day, guys. We'll talk in Telegram. Thank you guys so much for coming, and I hope you guys learned a lesson or two. All right, see ya.